Got no words, I'm just drowning in attraction. Only one way to describe it. It's electric, can you feel it? You got the only touch that takes me high. It's electric, I'm up in my feelings. Got double vision 'cause of you tonight. It's electric.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the FSL Wild Rift Open 2. My name's Tash, but alongside me I have Infinity, and we are your casters for tonight.
Yeah, hello. I'm actually really excited. It's our first time casting, so it's such a huge honor, and I'm excited to see the teams right now for Wild Rift Open 2.
Right, that's right. So it's going to be really interesting for today because, as we know, this is going to be some of the best teams here in, I would say, for the region. And on top of that, these are all female teams for you guys who are at home, which means that this is a separate sort of tournament compared to the Wild Rift or WCS that is happening right now, which gives a brand new platform to the ladies here in the region.
Absolutely. I mean, we're seeing a lot of these teams, and one of which is actually a representative of the Philippine region in Southeast Asia Games, which is Grind Sky Ares, which I don't know if we'll see later on because right now they're battling for the semifinal spot. So it's really interesting to see how this would turn out for the whole bracket for all the teams that are a part of this magnificent tournament.
Yep, that's right. But let's have a look at the brackets right now. And right now we can see we're in quarterfinals where we have about 8 teams in total. Where we have Grind Sky Ares versus FW Esports. And after that, we're going to see Royal Ladies versus Pizza Team, which I definitely will give them a 10 out of 10 just for their team name. GGTY going to be going against Lorem, Ipsum, and finally Team Yakult versus NSL.
Yeah, we have a lot of food here, right? We have pizza, we have Yakult. So I'm getting a bit more hungry, but I just ate dinner, so probably
Yep.
not that hungry.
Yeah, I mean, I just had dinner, so I'm pretty much good. But it's gonna be really, really cool. But for you guys who don't know, there are gonna be prize pools here, and of course, we all know that whenever there is a female circuit, think of FSL, and we also know that there's gonna be a prize pool going on here, and it's prize pool is actually pretty interesting. You're gonna have 1,000 Sing dollars on the line here, as alongside 15,000 wild cores. What can you buy with 15,000 wild cores?
Probably like 15. I don't know, 15 many skins. I don't know. I can't do quick maths. Probably a lot.
Yeah, I really think so. But if I could buy any skin I could with those wild cores, I would think Fae Dragon Ash. Very, very pretty skin. Really, really like it. Of course, Warden Karma. Karma just came out. Shen as well, by the way. And as far as I know as well, before we go into everything, tonight's game will be playing on patch 3.1b, I believe. And this is going to be really exciting.
Yeah, and there are a lot of changes, right? More notably, how Fiora has been changed, how Darius has been nerfed, right? The attack speed is now decreased by quite a huge margin compared in the past, wherein the first couple of levels it's 1.2%, and then when it comes to the max level, it's 27% now from 41%. And Fiora is not really nerfed, is not really buffed either, right? The launch has been decreased when it comes to range for a couple of distance, and then the ultimate, I believe, or the duelist dance, rather, has been buffed. So
Yeah.
it's just a bit of adjustments, and we could see a lot of these things probably could tip the scale of the draft later on.
Yeah, but honestly, there are some changes in the patch which I'm very, very surprised about, especially from Yumi, because we know from the beginning she was pretty strong, and then she was buffed, and then now she's buffed again. And I'm just curious to know as to why these buffs are happening, because right now, if you look at competitive, especially on WCS, you know that Yumi is one of the most top pick supports right now alongside Lulu.
Yeah. And in WCS Philippines, when Yumi was first released, it was actually one of the top picks in the dual lane. It has been not seen as of often after a couple of matches and weeks, but it has returned for a couple of days. So it's really interesting how that would turn out.
Yep, that's right. But if you look at the first three bans for sign of Lorem in Ipsum, I would say that these are very, very standard bans, especially on WCS MYSG at least, because you know that Shen is a very good flex. You can play him mid, you can play him support, you can play him on the top lane on Baron, but you also have a support Galio as well. You know Galio just got a buff as well in terms of damage. And Lulu, you know what Lulu happens when you give anyone Lulu. Lulu, you pair her with any ADC, they just go on God roll mode.
Absolutely, because it gives you a lot of HP, it gives you a lot more damage, and just the flexibility of Lulu, as you've stated, it can pair up with pretty much every single ADCs. But given this ban, you have Jace open, Set open, these two picks are really flexible, considering you have Set being nerfed, not that much, but just the amount of Set that it gives, it's just a very good pick. And now the Yumi that you were looking for.
Yeah, those are two really big picks coming from Lorem, because you know that Set. Okay, this is very interesting. I don't know if this is done in the Philippines before, but Yumi was actually played over on the Baron lane before. So I'm really interested to see if we're going to be seeing, well, obviously not maybe, because she does have a heal here. So obviously she'll be going to the Dragon lane, and Set on, I believe, would be on the Dragon lane. So what Set gives here is that pick potential, as well as a lot of HP from just take so much damage. And so despite the nerf, he's still very able to do a lot of damage to your team.
Yeah, and not just even damage as well. It's just the engage is such of a huge value when you're considering about the Baron lane, when you're considering about Set overall. The face breaker, the showstopper is such a good type of a benefit for your team to be able to impact an overall team fight. And as you stated, yes, Yumi has been seen in the Baron lane before, but it has only been seen once. And when it comes down to it, you're only considering a jungle who's going to carry. But at this point in time, when we're saying Yumi at this point for Lorem Ipsum, considering you have Lucian, it's considering to be in the bot lane as a support for these roles, and we're expected the Set to be in the Baron lane instead.
Yep, that's right. But this is also very interesting, because when you think about Garen, Garen is this I mean, he did get a bit of a would you call it a nerf? It's a nerf, wasn't it? So I wouldn't. But despite those nerfs, like something that we saw earlier, he's still very very actively picked in competitive. Why do you think that's the case?
Yeah, it's just the silence. Because if you get silence, you can't use stasis. If you have a Thresh in your team, you can't do the lantern to go back into safety. Pretty much your silence is literally silence. So you can't do anything. And it's just such of a huge value as well when you're considering the Baron lane. And when it comes to being that frontliner for your team, it gets all the damage. And the Mason Justice, well, just one hit.
Lux. Wait, this Lux is a support. Is she? No. She's definitely going mid.
I feel like it's mid.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to support because at this point in time, if you're looking at Yumi,
I
I mean,
mean,
it could go mid lane. I mean, no
I've
one's
seen the
stopping
Yumi
you.
Baron, but that's more of like a funnel comp, you know. So
Yeah.
I think she's going mid, but I think what's great about Lux is I mean, I've seen her played in comp before, but she's definitely not one of the highest picks so far, and I'm actually surprised that they actually chose to pick her over Morgana, and Morgana is actually not banned out.
Yeah. Definitely. I think Lux is more of being that long range damage, long range engage type of person that can go for like final spark into a team fight and can support in that further range. And I think just the advantage of Lux is the light binding that can root two people and have
Yep.
that extra barrier. But as you stated, I feel like Morgana has just huge value to her kit.
Yeah, her pick is just so good. She enables so much, especially for players like Lucian, you know, like even Set with her Dark Shield. I think what's really good is the fact that she's able to take those picks without being stopped. But what's almost also very interesting as well is this Vi pick. I would say that what they're going for here from the side of Lorem Ipsum is this all-in pick sort of comp
Yeah.
where you can just pick someone off with either a Set or even Vi, and as long as Lux manages to get the bind, they're basically dead meat.
Definitely. I actually do agree with you because considering you have a Lux mid, Vi jungle, this is not really the most common pick champions, but what they're going for is pick comp. So what they don't want is to go for an all-in 5v5 fight because you're considering a Karma, Nami in the same lineup
Yeah.
for GGTY. So when it comes to a 5v5 brawl, it's definitely not looking that great when it comes to Lorem Ipsum's draft.
Yep, that's right. But I do gotta say though, Lorem Ipsum, I mean, like all, how do I say it? Like all sort of strats or picks, I would say that execution is one of the most important things. And the win condition for Lorem Ipsum, there's a lot. There's so many win conditions. You need Set to be able, or Vi to be able to lock down. You need Lux to be able to land her, you know, her snares. But also, what's also really interesting as well is the fact that all of these win conditions can be enabled, especially because of Yumi's ultimate.
Yeah. That is what they are going to rely when it comes to the team fights, like Yumi's
Yeah.
ultimate and Set's ultimate. Other than that, you can't really rely on Lux's ultimate
No.
to go for team fights. It's its final spark, no CC. So pretty much it's Yumi and Set dependent when it comes to that mid game, late game potential. And when it comes to GGTY, it's pretty much an all flexible balanced draft.
Yeah, I would like to say so as well. And on top of that, when you think about Karma, you know that her ultimate here is very, I would say it's not only high damage, but it's also the CC is actually very, very strong as well, because it does bring everyone into an area. So you combine that with the Nami ultimate, which is just basically a recipe for disaster, which means that every single idea or the execution idea that comes from the side of Lorem Ipsum is basically down the drain.
Yeah, and considering you have Nami and Karma in the same draft, this doesn't really shout the most damage in the world. And that is the reason why they brought in the Jace for that extra damage in the jungle role, considering Yumu's Ghostblade is also right now very, very insane. The amount of increased penetration of that specific item has been improved, and I think that changes everything. Considering you have Jace in the draft right now, it's going to hurt so much. So we need to look at Jace, we need to look at Corki later on to be the damage-dependent champions for GGTY.
Yep, that's right. I think what's great about Corki definitely is because of the armor shredder, especially against Set, right? But if you look at that over on top lane, Vi already on the aggressive here. But look at that, looks like he may be coming out on top. YF gonna be getting the first blood, and he just spins away to safety. Meanwhile, Rogue coming in from the back as well. Gonna be a double here. Andy tries to make something happen, but Rogue is here. Flashes are out. There comes two for the side of GGTY.
Yeah, it was a great response. Andy was being aggressive and was being greedy on getting that kill. They want to get that trade at the very least to get that security onto John easy. Because if you're going to look at it, if Seth gets an early kill, he will be able to get a lot more items in the early game, get that Black Cleaver early on, and deal damage for his team. But instead, because of that greediness, he was punished, and now it was a double kill for GGTY, giving also a kill onto Rogue. So more farm, more gold into the jungle role and in the Baron lane, and YF is now in a bit of a danger. Because it's 400 gold gap. And with the changes in the Rift Scuttler, it doesn't really give you more experience. So much more delayed, much more deficit when it comes to this early game for Lorem Ipsum.
Yep, that's right. But let's talk about Vi, that Vi pick. I don't know why, but personally, I'm not a big fan of seeing her in the jungle. I think that she's great at those kind of pick'em, like those pick comps, but I think that she's a little bit too squishy to go into the front line here. But what do you think? What kind of impact can she bring to Lorem? Is something you think?
Yeah, I think what YF is going to be playing in a role here for Lorem Ipsum is really just the engage in the mid game. That is the power of Vi. You have Sis and Desist that can really just lock on onto a single champion without cancellation, right? Without deny. So that's really the power of YF. But when it comes to that late game, as you stated, it's not really the strongest.
Yep, that's right. But look at Ayapi coming from the side here, puts in some damage on YF, but Julie Bear gonna be protected by her beautiful support. That's what we like about support life. I will die for you. Literally.
Your guardian angel in game.
Yeah!
I'll heal for you. I get all the damage.
Yep, that's right. But look at that root here coming out from Ayapi. Wants to make something happen to Lux just now, but couldn't quite kind of nail it. But I think that's the kind of like a downside of seeing a Lux versus Karma mid. Is not really a you know, like an advantage matchup or anything. It's more of a skill at this point because their kits are somewhat similar, I have to say.
Yeah, and there's a deficit as well when you're considering Lux in a Karma matchup, because those light bindings is not going to connect as easy because of the speed, the movement speed that Karma provides.
Yeah, I don't think so, but for now, look at the Yuumi just making a way, giving the speed boost to her ADC. Sorry, not to ADC, actually to YF, but I don't think they're gonna be trying to contest. It's gonna be really, really hard because look at that, everyone is already here, and they pretty much have the whole area on track. For now, you can see that now what's happening. Lux nearly going down, but look at that, what's happening. I think at this point, what do you think happened there?
Well, I think Lorem Ipsum wanted to force that steal. Although I don't think it was the best case scenario. Because first of all, it's the Mountain Drake. And Mountain Drake is not really the best option in the world when it comes to early game, nor even the whole duration of that matchup. And Lorem Ipsum, when you're considering that based on how GGTY was taking that dragon, it was a 5-mana roam from them, wherein Andy was split pushing top lane. So they should have just forced the Rift Herald, get the 1-for-1 trade when it comes to objectives, because they already have that first turret blood.
Yeah, actually, I agree, actually. When you think about it, I think that's the thing. Because the thing, they already saw that all 5 members were there. Rotations were very, very slow. And I don't know why they tried to force it, and they ended up just going off one by one. They lost one, thankfully, but still.
Yeah, there's a good return though. because Lorem Ipsum got the trade once again in the turret in bot lane. So 2 turrets traded for 1 objective for now.
Ooh. That would have been
Although
great if Ayapi
GGTY
had that
got
damage.
2 objectives as well.
Yeah. I have to say though, what do you think in terms of rotations between the two teams?
It's interesting. I think what happened there is because Lorem Ipsum actually got the tower first build already on top lane, and then they were looking for bot lane turret. And that forces out YF to go into the bot lane as well to support the dual lane, which is Julie Bear and Hot to push that turret for themselves. But the problem is Rift Herald was available on top lane. So that opens up this objective once again for GGTY to be able to take without contest because they know the enemy jungler is in the bot lane. So no smite for the enemy team to be able to get that steal potential up against them. So it was an easy take for GGTY at the end of the day. And we're looking at the bigger perspective wherein the Rift Herald can be spawned in mid lane for GGTY. And yes, even if they lost 2 turrets in the process, they will get that map control because of that mid lane turret.
Yep, that's right. YF gonna get caught out here. Lux trying to do something about that. Can't quite do anything. But when you look at that in terms of kills, 4-2-1 right now is the golden number here, but you really gotta give it to them because while Lorem is down on kills, they're a lot more focused in terms of objective base, in terms of getting their farm, and I really gotta give it to them because they still managed to kind of equalize the situation. Only a 1k difference despite the severe difference in terms of kills, but look at that! Look at how much damage is coming in, and Julie Bear gonna be caught out here.
Yeah, and Karma as well to just secure the kill, to just nail the coffin on the ground, on the dirt. And GGTY gets another kill for their team. And as you stated, right, this is a 4-kill lead for GGTY. And despite this huge deficit from Lorem Ipsum, at the very least, they were able to just keep up with that gold disadvantage, only being 2k gold deficit or disadvantage up against GGTY. The topside fight.
Look at that, but we are gonna be taking the damage. Ken gonna be caught out by the Yuumi. Yuumi trying to run away here. Lux can't do anything about that. But now Yapi and Den gonna have to be running for their lives, but gonna be able to back them out, no problem.
Yeah, and Rift Herald wasn't even spawned in mid lane. I was expecting it to be spawned in mid lane, get that scared turret, but Jace just walked in under the turret, got that turret trade, and then Rift Herald spawned in bot lane. So more on the long run, long term, GGTY got the better end of that trade, even despite that early first 2 turrets for Lorem Ipsum. And the interesting part here is, when we're looking at the items, specifically on the Yuumi, he built onto Luden's Echo. So more on the damage output more than an enchanting his teammates. Because traditionally, you see what Harmonix Echo, you see Ardent, give it the first one.
Really though, but look at that. Second dragon about to be secured here. Nami ult comes out. That a beautiful knock-up here. And they are separated right now. Lux flashing for her life, trying to run to her teammates, but gonna be falling down to the Corki. But for now, though, look at that pick-off coming here from the set. Can't do anything. Tries to sacrifice himself for his teammate, but looks like it's gonna be an ace.
Yeah, and a while ago, we talked about what is the advantage of GGTY's draft. What is the advantage of Garen in this draft? Getting all the damage, getting all the aggro for his team, being that frontliner for GGTY. And then Rogue can be that damage dealers, and you have Nami and Karma to be that CC, crowd control initiators for GGTY. So when it comes to that 5v5, really, it's Lorem Ipsum who is on a disadvantage. They don't need to force onto these team fights. They don't need to give in onto GGTY. They need to look for pickups instead of go for team fights.
Yeah, that's right. It's just really, really unlucky here because as I mentioned before, the win conditions for Lorem Ipsum's comp is just so specific and can be stopped at any moment. You saw just now what happened. As soon as the Nami ultimate comes out, as soon as the ultimate from the Karma comes out, that CC is enough to stop whatever it is that they had planned. And for now, look at that. Garen on her own down here. Jonah is running for her life. There's 3 people here, but look at how tanky she is. I don't think he's gonna be able to get it out alive.
Absolutely not. It's illusion that we're talking about, and this is what Lorem Ipsum needs. Pick-offs, 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 rather than 5v5 force-out fights up against GGTY. So good middle ground for Lorem Ipsum for now in this game number 1.
Yeah, I really gotta say though, Lorem Ipsum 13-3 right now. It's just really, really hard for them to do anything. Because when you look at that right now, look at the final chapter comes out, gets everyone, but look at that, the ultimate coming from Nami as well. Ken kind of moving away, but look at that, suddenly the tables have turned. Lux not managed to get anyone with the final spot, but Rogue, nearly falls down.
Karma just lost his life. Already a 2-for-1 trade, and Lorem Ipsum just has to retreat.
Yep, that's right. Shika is just running for her life, but that's the beauty of having a Yumi. That speed buff is just so, so good. But this is one of those rare moments. I have yet to see a team that has lost in WCSMYSG with a Yumi. But for the first time though, seeing Yumi not able to do much here is just a little bit heartbreaking here, I have to say. Because I think it's more not because of the Yumi, but rather, as I mentioned before, it's just not working out in terms of team comp. One thing that you really gotta give it to Jones, she does her job well in terms of making sure the team is not able to play together, zoning out that at least that one player is playing in the back.
Yeah, although a huge caveat and a reason why we don't really see a Yumi composition to be such of a great comp in the early game is because Yumi actually doesn't really do that much in the early game. They're like playing 4v5 up against a team composition in the first 5 to 10 minutes of that matchup. But Yumi scales more towards that late game. So if ever Lorem Ipsum scales this out a bit further, Yumi can scale when it comes to his HP regen for his teammates. But the problem is GGTY also scales. So there's really a difficult balance that Lorem Ipsum needs to juggle here for this game number 1. They need to pick off Ken. They need to pick off Rogue, because if they don't, his damage is gonna hurt them and could be punished for this game 1.
Yeah, that's right. But if you look at where Set is, though, he's trying to make that side lane push happen, but it's gonna be really, really hard because look at how hard they're pushing here on the Dragon lane. And oh my god, beautiful ult coming in from Karma, beautifully pulls them down, and right now, not able to finish anyone else though, but look at that, the tag team coming around, immediately, they get the turret, immediately backs away.
He's split pushing.
Yeah.
Andy is split pushing the top lane. So despite GGTY pushing on the bot lane, getting that inhib turret, Lorem Ipsum, you know what? Get it. We're gonna get a trade. So it's even for both of us. We both have super minions crossing different lanes in this game 1. So despite that, Lorem Ipsum is still on this game. Only 5k gold deficit though, so still not a good option for them when it comes to a 5v5.
Yep, that's right, but look at that, Jones with the speed buff, but red team manages to just keep the dragon in their pocket, but for now they are running for their lives, and I don't think they want to engage this just because they know that they won't have a chance when it comes to team fights. Now coming back to that though, I'm just quite surprised. I don't think there was a hull breaker built by Set.
There is, or I don't know if a while ago there wasn't, probably wasn't.
Yeah, because I was looking at the side push.
Oh,
sorry, not Hullbreaker, Bulwark. Bulwark, that was the one. Was it? I can't remember the name. I think it was Bulwark, yeah. It's great for side pushes, but doesn't really give that extra advantage when it comes to playing together with your other teammates. However, though, I really gotta give it to GGTY. Look at them just go for that advantage when it comes to these objectives, and immediately Set gets decimated. It looks like it's gonna be Lux next.
Yeah, and with the Baron Nashor, they're looking for the finish. And it looks like GGTY is looking for game 1.
Yep, that's right. I gotta say, they played this real clean. This is the second ace they've gotten this in this round alone. And I have to say, sometimes it's best to play in a situation where you don't have to put so much win conditions in order to make a play. And I have to say, GGTY played this very, very well.
5v5 composition, go for 5v5 fights, and that will lead you to success. Absolutely amazing game there for GGTY, played for their winning conditions. And as we're seeing right now, the main damage dealers is going to be Rogue, is going to be Ken. And I think the start of the downfall here for Lorem Ipsum for game number 1 is that early game. You gave gold onto Rogue, you gave gold onto Jones, and on top of that, YF and Andy lost track of a bit more gold in their respective camps, in their respective lanes, that led to a huge deficit in the first 5 minutes of the matchup.
Yep, that's right. That's why I gotta say, when you I really liked what GGTY has done here because they're playing it real smart. They put this situation in a way where they can actually play so flexibly. They don't need to rely on this certain play to happen in order for it to be executed. So if say a situation was that, oh, okay, we have to get set in order to pick someone out, we need to have Vi get the ultimate onto someone to pin them down, and then follow up with the final chapter as the light binding. You see that there's like three different steps needed just to get something to happen.
Yeah, and really, when it comes to Lorem Ipsum's draft, they have a huge reliance in the early mid-game phase. Because when Lux goes for light binding, you're expected for Vi to go and sis and desist to follow through. As you've stated, DCC chains is going to be such a huge benefit for them. But considering this huge deficit that they've allotted in the early game when it comes to GGTY's dominance, they were just halted of that potential CC chain, potential engage on game number 1.
Yeah, that's right. The flexible gameplay is sometimes just better. But for now, we're gonna go on a quick break and let's see what's gonna be happening later in game number 2.
I got you and your vibes in my mind, I can't get them out, no matter how hard I try. I need you and your heart next to mine, yeah, I'm all about keeping it you and I. When you're here, you spark chemical reactions, your aura strikes like lightning. Got no words, I'm just drowning in attraction. Only one way to describe it. It's electric, can you feel it? You got the only touch that takes me high. It's electric, I'm up in my feelings. Got double vision 'cause of you tonight. It's electric. there's no doubt. Gotta get out of this small town. You took my heart from me, now you're everywhere I see. Set me free, let me fly, let me find new kinds of highs. We're just wasting here, waiting for another year. We both know the score, we've been here once before. So many words unspoken, you took my heart, it's already broken. You don't have to wait, I can take the pain. I will surrender, let me go on a new adventure. My time, watch me build another life, find another space, explore the world and find my place. Hope you find some peace of mind, hope the night was worth your time. Threw my heart away, we won't see another day. We both know the score, we've been here once before. So many words unspoken, you took my heart, it's already broken. You don't have to wait, I can take the pain. I will surrender, let me go. It's a new adventure. On a new adventure. Adventure. I got you and your vibes in my mind, I can't get them out, no matter how hard I try. I need you and your heart next to mine, yeah, I'm all about keeping it you and I. When you're here, you spark chemical reactions. Your aura strikes like lightning. Got no words, I'm just drowning. I got you and your vibes in my mind, I can't get them out, no matter how hard I try. I need you and your heart next to mine, yeah, I'm all about keeping it you and I. When you're here, you spark chemical reactions. Your aura strikes like lightning. Got no words, I'm just drowning in attraction. Only one way to describe it. It's electric, can you feel it? You got the only touch that takes me high. It's electric, I'm up in my
Hello and welcome back everyone to FSL Wild Rift Open 2. And we're back for game number 2 between GGTY and Lorem Ipsum. Once again, for the same casters. I'm Infinity and this is Tash Bunny with me for the series for game 2.
Yep, that's right. We saw how GGTY just dominated round number 1, and we were just talking just now about how everything just fell apart for Lorem Ipsum. So now the question is, can Lorem Ipsum kind of just loosen up a bit and not put too many winning conditions on their lineups or picks? Or are they going to face the same thing again they did last round? Because sometimes there are certain lineups where you think, okay, this is already a draft diff. But what do you think about this time? What do you think Lorem Ipsum could do different?
Yeah, and that's the interesting thing. You talked about lineups. That is what I'm looking forward to. Is Lorem Ipsum going to have a different lineup now for game number 2? Are they going more so for a 5v5 team composition wherein they're going in for those team fights? Because what I've seen and what I've observed is they really want to force out fights, and having a team composition would give you that advantage for that 5v5 potential.
Yep, that's right. We were just talking about just now how Lorem Ipsum were just too aggressive. They wanted to force out so many team fights. The idea of getting those picks early did suit them early, especially on the Dragon Lane side. But after a while, as soon as GGTY started playing as a 5-man team, it was really hard for them to do anything because they knew what each player knew what they had to do. Meanwhile, Lorem Ipsum was in a situation where it was so hard for them to play together because each of their players were getting zoned out by different players as well, especially Jones on Garen. She knows what to do. She knows how to keep the damage dealer at bay. There was just nowhere for anyone to meet together and make that idea of that composition work.
Yeah, although I have to give a commendable play there from Lorem Ipsum in the latter stages of that game number 1 because Andy was split pushing on top lane. They got the inhibitor trade. That was phenomenal from them, but it was just a huge deficit regardless if they got the trade on inhibitor. So I guess right now, what they need to focus on is looking at that early game, mid game. What do they need to do? Do they force out fights, or do they stay on safety up until their power spike comes through?
Yep, that's right. And on top of that, despite the disparity in terms of kills, at least for the first part of the game, they still managed to equalize in terms of goals. Now look at that. Lorem Ipsum now, they immediately took out Karma, they took out Lulu. They didn't want to deal with that Karma just now. Understandable though, because of how much that displacement can do in terms of ruining their comp. And when you look at the side of GGTY, they didn't want to deal with the Jace just now. They're like, okay, their Jace was actually pretty good. I don't think we want to do that again, but is it going to be a Blitzcrank? I know there's an adjustment for Blitzcrank. What do you think of that?
I don't know. I feel like, regardless if Blitzcrank has been buffed nor nerfed, it's just too hard to play with. You're looking at an early game lead with those CCs, but it's really that strong though.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when I was very, very like a newbie when it came to League of Legends PC. I think Blitzcrank was my greatest fear. The sound till now still gives me PTSD sometimes. But nowadays, as you grow older, or as the game grew more mature, you realize that Thresh is actually the biggest threat, not Blitzcrank.
Yeah, it's just Thresh is more flexible. It gives you safety for your team. It gives you slow with your ultimate, and it just gives you a lot more utility rather than Blitzcrank, which is a little bit more selfish because of the overdrive giving you movement speed for yourself.
Yeah, so, that's right.
Just a different thing.
Yeah, that's right. And on top of that, I think the when you look at the picks right now for Rakan, I think Rakan is just one of those supports, just so great at initiating, great at getting in and out. He's a very slippery guy. Think of it as like a support Fizz, but with like heals and knockups. And I think what's really great as well is Ziggs pick from Lorem Ipsum. I think their lineup this time around looks a lot better because when you think about Ziggs is just able to hold on his own, especially if you want to play him on Dragon Lane, if you want to play him on mid. He can clear waves so fast. His satchel gives him so much mobility and can take down turrets really fast as well.
Yeah, and I really like this so far because you have Ziggs, you have Rakan now. These are huge team fight potential champions.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about like game number 1, where's a team fight comp? They're going for pick comp. But now it's looking quite well when it comes to that 5v5, a little bit more flexible because Ziggs right now can go mid, can go bot, and it's really just a powerhouse at the moment for Lorem Ipsum. But they need AD because they're
They
lacking
really
AD.
do. I really want to see what they would pick out for AD. It looked like Julie Bear was hovering on Vayne just now, but I can't be sure. Right now, two supports are actually banned out here from Lorem, and they are both really, really good. I would say, let's say three supports. These are three S tier and A tier supports. What?
It's all support ban from Lorem Ipsum. You know, ban away the
Yeah.
Yumi, ban away the Nami, Lulu, Karma, Galio, put it away. We don't want to fight against it. And
Thresh is still available, but it looks like Morgana will be picked up. We just talked about what Morgana can
Yeah.
give to a team as a support, as a mid laner. She's just so versatile. Actually, when you think about it again, I think that having a Morgana on the team, you put the Black Shield on either Garen or Lee Sin, the playmaking potential is endless.
absolutely, Lee Sin can just penetrate through the back lines and get that kick, the Dragon Rage, and specifically Ziggs, because Ziggs would be that main dependent damage dealer for Lorem Ipsum in the long run, because Kha'Zix would be the ones who's going to get some pickoffs, who's going to get some ganks in the early game. So definitely something that we need to look at is Ziggs, if he's going to play a bit more safe, especially with the Lee Sin in the opposing team.
Oh man, Lorem Ipsum's team is stacked. I love the Sinch pick. WCSMYSG, we saw Sinch more of support, so I have not seen yet competitively a Sinch played on a dragon. I mean on Baron, but you have seen situations where Sinch can just go proxy if he wants to. He can play, if he has a lead, he can play behind enemy turrets and just farm for there, thus making it so easy for the minions just push forward and just take out the turret
Yeah.
early.
Yeah, and you know what, Cash Bunny? You've seen a Singe support, but have you seen a Rakan mid laner?
Oh wait, are you serious? No way! I can't
I've
believe
seen a Rakan mid
this.
lane. It's WCS Philippines. It's RRQ's playstyle. They play a Rakan mid lane. It's just absolutely nuts.
What? Okay, I'm just learning of this. I thought Malaysia was cool having like a Yumi top lane, a Lulu mid lane. I'm like, okay, cool, funnel comp. Wonderful. I haven't seen this, but Rakan. I like to see this happen. So can you tell me, walk
Yeah.
me through it. What exactly does a Rakan mid bring here?
Well, I don't know if Lorem Ipsum's gonna do a Rakan mid lane. Most probably not, but as a Rakan mid lane, because what you want to do is to just funnel onto specific champions. Your hyper carry, may it be a Vayne, for example, if you want to put it out there. Because on a 5v5, on a team fight basis in professional scene, you don't really want everyone to gain gold, right? So being a Rakan mid lane, you give more of a utility, you become that team player, but you still build AP, so your engage is gonna hurt. So
Yep.
there's just a lot of things to consider as a Rakan mid lane.
Yep, that's right. But when you think about it again, it's hard to say. I really am excited about Akali because Akali's pick potential is really strong. She's able to come in from the flanks from the back and just catch you off guard if you want to. And it's just honestly so surprising as well because you have a pick sort of like a assassin, a sort of champion when you have Akali, but they also are going with the Kha'Zix. I would like to think that they are trying to just go for the picks here. I think the two squishies would definitely be the Corki, Morgana, as well as the Lee Sin. Now the idea is this is where it gets complicated. We just talked about win conditions here. If they're able to get that win condition out, great. But if not,
It's not looking that great. Absolutely.
yeah.
I was just waiting. Is there going to be a follow-up?
No.
Probably not. But the other thing that I'm looking at as well for Lorem Ipsum is a while ago we were looking some like team composition right for
Yeah.
them. But right now they produced like a team composition for them for game number 2 here in the quarterfinals up against GGTY. But they're going for 4 AP champions. Well, Rakan is AP champion when you're considering
Yeah.
his skill kit, but there's a lot of AP with only Kha'Zix being the AD. And if Kha'Zix doesn't scale here in the early mid game, it's not looking that great. GGTY can just buy magic resistance
Yeah,
and
that's
deny
right.
all of these AP damage.
Yeah, that's right. And if you think about it, right now, Lee Sin is one of the strongest jungle champions because of how fast he can rotate and move around. Look at that. She's already done with the top side, already moving down to the bottom side. As opposed to Kha'Zix, he's only just moving up to the other side. For now, though, look at that. Julie Bear, I really gotta give it to her, though. She's doing so much damage here, making it really... Well, they are losing in terms of their farm. But look at how much damage he's able to put out. But I really gotta give it to Ken as well, because Ken is just able to just really juke and play around that.
Yeah, and just this is the cost that you pay for having a Ziggs versus Corki matchup, because Corki in level 1, level 2, level 3 doesn't really have that much range. You need to have that level 5 for that missile barrage to be able to go online. So pretty much Corki's not gonna have the greatest of time here in the early game when it comes to that long range poke up against Julie Bear.
Yep, that's right as well. But Julie Bear, I don't think it's going to be a problem. I don't think they're able to push up at least to the turret as well. But look at that, because they have that push there on the Dragon Lane side, they can actually have so much potential, or at least hold onto the bottom side.
Akali just jumping in with a shuriken flip, but Rogue here jumping through. Sonic Wave will not connect. Will miss that opportunity for that first blood, but Set flash in. Not gonna connect though, so
that was
Ollie's
very
gonna be safe for
aggressive.
now. No first blood.
Yeah, that was just way too aggressive. And we saw this happening just now as well, right? But look at that, YF really coming up top here. Nothing quite happening just yet, but that's the beauty of having a Garen. He's just so tanky. He just spins away.
Yeah, the protection of the mash is gonna protect you till the end.
Yeah, spinning at my haters. That's what he does when a gank happens.
So yeah, definitely something that Lorem Ipsum would probably not opt to consistently is to gank top lane, because Garen's just too tanky. So more or less look at mid lane, look at bot lane as a contest, as a point of contest for Lorem Ipsum.
Yeah, that's right. But for now, how the turntables here, because the push will be happening from Julie Bear, but Julie Bear is gonna have to go back. She's a bit low on mana. If they want to go aggressive, they can though. Looks like they're not gonna stay. But this is one of like the slower paced games compared to earlier, where we saw early ganks happening up there on top. But you know, I don't blame them though, because of the situation that's going on, at least on top lane. It becomes like a farm city, because Garen can only do Garen things and just farm around there. You can't actually push to a cinch, can you?
Yeah, I don't think so, because that fling is also going to be a huge value for Lorem Ipsum. If ever Garen forces out the push, if ever he overextends, Cinch can just fling him onto the air, go under the turret, and deal so much damage onto him. So not going to be the best ideal situation for GGTY to force things up there. But right now, this is the exact thing that Lorem Ipsum should have done. Trade objectives, go for the 1-for-1 trade. And I think GGTY is also doing a great thing, because considering that this is only a mountain dragon, Rift Herald would be that option for them.
Yep, that's right. And immediately they're just gonna go straight up to Baron lane, top lane, just take that down if they want to. But look at it, there is gonna be a response here coming through. There are 3 coming up on the top side here. The Rogue eating so much damage, had to flash out of there. Barely makes it out alive.
Quickness is here already, but the root will disable this potential engage coming in from Rakan. Ultimate from Morgana will not be able to connect. That Rift Herald will die. No tower for his blood, so pretty safe for Lorem Ipsum. They're not forcing out fights.
Yeah, I think they knew that they were behind. That's why they didn't force it. They're like, okay, we're a little bit behind here, but it's okay. We miss out on the dragon. We just take that. We'll put as much damage as we can onto the turret. And I think that's a good thing, because, you know, as I said before, pushing towards a Singe is hard. So any damage or any situation where you can actually bring down the turret just a little bit for that side is pretty much already a big advantage, or at least a huge win for them.
Yeah, definitely. Although, something that I like to see, Lee Sin picking up the Yuumu's Ghostblade. And we talked about a while ago how Ghostblade has been buffed.
Yeah.
And we're expecting a lot of damage coming in from Rogue.
Yeah, I really like to see that as well, and that I think that gives so much advantage as well to Lee Sin, because he's able to move so far so fast. But for now, as I mentioned before, this is just one of those games that's just very, very slow. There's only like what, 400 gold difference, and I don't think that even matters at this point. But I really gotta give it to Lorem Ipsum, because this time it looks like they're a lot more proactive in rotating, a lot more proactive in getting those how do I say this? Those objectives as opposed to before, which they were put in a situation because they were so behind when it comes to getting those going to, you know, these objectives. They weren't able to contest it.
Yeah, game 1 was a warm-up game. Voila. This is the true Lorem Ipsum.
I think that's usually the case for a lot of games, where you kind of have like that introduction that introduction situation where you kind of have to figure out what's going on. But Rogue coming from back here.
Great Dragon's Rage to mention just this. Will not secure the kill. Ignite will burn him down, but not going to be enough to secure the kill. So then, going for the flank. Harper's Blood ready for GGTY, but Lorem Ipsum gets the trade back 1-for-1.
That's a good trade. They saw that everyone was up top taking the turret. They're like, okay, we should have done this earlier. Let's go take bottom side instead. But it looks like the pushers aren't going to stop at all from top side here. I think they want to force out as much as they can, but meanwhile over on Dragon side, our bottom lane, you're not seeing that force there from GGTY this time.
Yeah, and it's just that Den is there to protect that tier 2 turret as well, and it's Lorem Ipsum, as you said it a while ago, who has the deficit, who has its disadvantage. So not forcing out fights is something that they need to do. Right now, Trick and Flip though, Akali jumping in, Den is half HP, Akali as well, so they don't want to go for an all-in here. The 7 minutes of this matchup. Still 2 kills for 7 minutes into the game. A new thing for the series.
Yeah, that's right. And I really gotta give it to her as well, because Akali is just so aggressive. She knows her limits. Look at that. She's not scared to bring it in. She knows that she can go as aggressive as she wants to, but she's not overextending because she knows that if she gets into Ayapi's snare, that's gonna be a problem because she won't be able to move till tomorrow. There's actually a meme, at least from WCSMYSG, where it's like you get snared by Morgana's binding. You get up, you go get a drink, and maybe when you come back, you probably still won't be out of the binding yet.
Absolutely. And I remember this one time, like when Leona was released, like the text for the Zenith Blade was like 50-second stun or something. It was insane. But that was only a text bug. Right now, GGTY looking for that Infernal Drake. Lorem Ipsum is just around the corner, is on the horizon, but not gonna go for a forced fight here. GGTY has huge respect of the Lorem Ipsum because there's not really much difference when it comes to gold.
Yeah, that's right. But look at that. They're like, okay, fine, we can't have Dragon. We'll just decimate your turret. And that's the beauty of having a Ziggs on your team. The damage and the satchel does so much damage to the turret. But look at that right now. They know that Akali will be taking care of the backside. They already are pretty much ready.
Really great macro play there from Lorem Ipsum, but now GGTY looking for that fight. Akali going for the back lines with a shuriken flip. Den is really low. Stays his enchant for Yapi. Followed up the flash. Force him back to safety, but Akali is already down. Rakan is down as well. As GGTY has the numbers advantage, but Kha'Zix and Ziggs still there. Ziggs gets the kill onto Morgana. They're looking for this fight. They're forcing it out, but Kha'Zix falls out for a trade onto the Morgana kill, and GGTY secures the Infernal Drake.
Oh man, they were hungry for the Infernal, but you just gotta say that was so beautifully played. They played the game of tag team here. One person moves up, takes the damage, moves away, and the other one just follows up after. And that is the most definition of teamwork and team play. We were just talking about macro play from the team, and it's just so good seeing them do that.
Absolutely, it was flawless coming in from GGTY, how they played it out. But remember, Lorem Ipsum got that tier 1 turret in mid lane, which was a trade and objective. But right now, Lorem Ipsum looking for the Rift Herald. GGTY is there as well. As Ayapi gets the steal onto the Rift Herald. How can you do this?
Oh, just Morgana things. I can't believe this. Ayapi. I don't think they were expecting to be outsmited like that, because they didn't realize that, they didn't think that, they didn't see Rogue there, I suppose. But the thing is, Ayapi gonna be the trump card rather. Just saying, just because my jungler isn't here doesn't mean I can't steal it from you.
Yeah, get Dark Binding, don't just get a drink, get food. GGTY doing absolutely miracle things here for game number 2, and right now with that Rift Herald steal, they're now looking at a very good state in 10 minutes into this matchup.
I'm still in shock at that steal. That was just so good. But look at that, now that they have the mid lane advantage, I just really want to talk about the jungle control they have. Look at how many red wards there are in the jungle. That is why Rogue is able to just move around the jungle as she pleases, because she knows who is in the jungle, where they're gonna be, as opposed to the amount of blue wards. I really gotta say though, it's not because they're because Lorem Ipsum isn't warding. It's because the amount of they have two people actually clearing out the wards from the side of GGTY, which is actually the set as well as Den and Rogue.
Yeah, it's just crazy, right? The vision will give you that knowledge on where the jungler is. Something similar to now, where the Kazakhs would be. Now, it's then Akali 1v1. Akali with the shuriken flip, but just that GGTY still going to be safe with that fast response from his teammates. Akali has to retreat.
Yeah, that's right. But there is gonna be a response for that. Look at Jones getting chunked up here top. I don't know what I'm gonna say though. Jones isn't scared. Look at that. She goes front, puts in damage. She's like, okay, I'm done. I'm gonna walk away now.
Yeah, he has Black Cleaver. He has a lot of this HP as well as the build path to Force of Nature. So he's going to be really, really safe. And this is the thing that we were talking about a while ago. But before then, Dragon's Raid going to be flawless. Exhaust to follow up, as that will be the secured kill onto Akali. GGTY. Great gank, but the trade cost of Garen on top lane.
Yep, that's right. I think that's a trade that they want to do, because this is really, really hard pushes when you think about it. Now what's only left is just the inhibitor turret for Dragon Lane side. Meanwhile, they're just... This is what I like about them. The discipline that's coming in from GGTY is something that you really, really gotta commend. When they don't have enough HP, they said, it's okay, we don't have to force this fight, we don't have to get too greedy, just let them get away with it. Oh, we can't actually contest this dragon, that's fine, we'll go get another objective, whether it be a turret, whether it be trading a kill, whether it be getting the herald. And that's what I really like seeing from GGTY. We talked about macro play as well. They're just really, really good. Look at the rotations that come in as well from them. It's just so clean.
Yeah, it definitely is giving them a lot of these advantage. And a while ago in the draft, we were talking about the monotonic damage category of Lorem Ipsum, and that would be the answer of GGTY to be Hex Drinker, Mothmaw Mortis, Spirit Visage for Garen at this point in time, giving you a lot of this magic resistance. So a lot of damage negated by GGTY from that point.
Yeah, YF actually was a little bit too late in the jump in as well when you think about it. Had to flash out as well. There are a lot of situations where I saw that Lorem Ipsum, they would just burn their flashes, I wouldn't say unnecessarily. I would say it was that they put themselves in this situation where those flashes they didn't have to be used in the first place. And then suddenly where it comes to those very, very scary situations where they actually need that flash, when they need to go get a pick, when they need to get out from a gank, they don't have it anymore.
Yeah. But look at the Yappy. She doesn't know there are 3 people looking to kill him. Now Grand Entrance will be there, but Black Shield negates it.
Oh,
the flash is
wow.
already burned. Kha'Zix comes through. Then the isolation damage, just too much. And now Ayapi is walking through death, as Fling will be there, and Morgana will be dead. And now GGTY though goes for the response. Season is here. Dragon Rage is there and ready. Will get the kill with Rogue going for the Sonic Wave, followed up by another. That will be the 2-for-1 trade from GGTY.
That was worth it. Ayapi knew how to play for time. All she did was just pull around, ring around the Rosie, waste some time as her teammates immediately collapse. And I think that's the situation what they really, really want. And on top of that, I just really gotta say though, when it comes to the Rakan from the side of Lorem Ipsum, she didn't use her quickness too early, didn't use Grand Entrance too early as well, which gave her so much potential as well when it came to running away. I think she already had a sneaking suspicion that whenever you see one person playing around alone, there is eventually going to be a cavalry coming around. But it was a little bit too late after all. They got themselves a little bit too low on HP regardless. But Ayapi, she knew how to play for herself, and I think that's one of the perks of playing a Morgana.
Yeah, you have the Black Shield to negate some CCs, you have Dark Binding to root enemy front line, so definitely something that Ayapi has utilized and even used to Stasis Enchant, right?
Yeah, that's right.
To just buy some time
Yeah,
as you
buy some
stated,
time.
to
They can even move after that, and after not just buying some time, they rooted them. And then by the time Ken and Ro came, they had no HP. So Morgana versus the world just now. Ah, so well played. I wish I could play as good as her, but I can't. So that's why we're here casting and not playing.
absolutely. It's just too difficult, right? Playing in a professional scene, it's just a lot to take in. Like, you have to think about the draft, you have to think about who are you fighting against, what bans are we going to do. So definitely something that GGTY and Lorem
Oh, they
Ipsum
didn't clear the
has
ward.
been doing. But right now, GGTY going for the Baron Nashor, but then and Johns is zoning away the enemy team. Might just be a double bluff here from GGTY. Not really going for an all-in onto the Baron Nashor. Dark Binding hit onto Rakan, but so far, no one's going for an all-in engage. Having huge respects onto each other on these teams, because one objective can go and result into a game over for any of these teams.
Yeah, that's right. Well, you think about it as well. I mean, yes, there is a goal disparity, GGTY in the lead, but if you look at it again, like how it's going on here, we're already in 17 minutes. We're already in the late game. At this point, though, anything can happen. You get a Baron and suddenly just run it down mid, run it down at least a bottom side, at least, because they only have one turret left. Which is why I'm quite surprised, because GGTY, I believe that if they wanted to play aggressive, they could. They have the... I feel like in terms of comp, they have the better comp here when it comes to a team fight, as opposed to what Lorem Ipsum has, which is more of like a pick comp as well. But look at the Dragon Rage!
The jump over the wall from Rogue gets the kill onto Julie Bear now with one member down for Lorem Ipsum. An Elder Dragon is available for GGTY.
Oh, that was so well done as well. As such a great pick, because that's their main damage dealer. Without Julie Bear, it's hard for them to do anything. Akali can only play close range.
And right now, Lorem Ipsum has to contest this. YF has the flash available, so he can go over the wall. It's now 1.5 to HP remaining, but GGTY secures the Elder Drake. And now GGTY is locking down onto the members of Lorem Ipsum as they shut them down. 4 kills for GGTY with the Elder Drake. Baron Nashor is alive for them to take.
Yeah, that's right. Rogue, I really gotta say, Rogue Smite, don't miss. I have not seen a situation where the Smite misses at all. And then just buying time here at mid, he's just like, she's like, I'm gonna push. I want to push as much as I can here. Just buy some time. And the thing is, they don't even know that they took Baron until now.
Absolutely phenomenal play there from GGTY. 2 of the most important objectives in the late game. Baron Nashor and the Elder Drake. And considering they have 2 dragons as well for GGTY, the true damage will stack in their favor. So huge benefit for GGTY at the moment.
Yeah, that's right. They can pretty much just run it down mid and run it down Dragon Lane if they wanted to. I don't think it's gonna be a problem at all when it came to that, but it looks like mid will be the area they want to go for. They've already pushed out the waves coming in from bot side, and now all they gotta do is just sneeze a little bit. 664 HP left on that turret, and I don't think it's gonna be a problem at all. Look at that.
Yeah, it's just a breeze at the moment for GGTY at this point. You have the Baron Nashor. Baron buffed minions is pushing through, and Lorem Ipsum has to just stay safe under their inhibitors, defending from the distance, because if they force out fights, Garen can just silence, and will definitely be a kill for GGTY. As right now, Rogue
Aggressive.
jumping right back in, roots him down to the ground. So GGTY has to retreat for a bit, but still pushing through inhibitor.
Yeah, look at that. Aggressive. Both turrets gonna go down at the same time here. I think this is gonna be the final fight.
The last chance for a defense here for Lorem Ipsum, as now GGTY is looking for the finish as they take 3 kills in a sudden ultimate from Den. A showstopper with a 1-4-3, and at the end of the day, it's GGTY getting the ace, followed up by the win on this series 2-0.
Oh my god, Den really knew how to make a showstopper sound like a showstopper. That was so beautifully played, and we talked about this before in terms of microplay, in terms of macro play. GGTY just a lot better, and you look at that in terms of score. While it looked very clean, or at least very strong here for the side of Lorem Ipsum, The one thing that is just really hard for them is because GGTY is just too good. They knew how to reevaluate the situation. They know how to play it patient. They know how to punish mistakes as well. While the comp, as we talked about just now from Lorem Ipsum, looked like they wanted to make it as fast as they can and end it as much as possible. But the thing is, look at the damage coming in from the side of Akali as well as Kha'Zix. And look at how much damage Ayapi as well as Ken and even Rogue is doing.
Yeah, and it's just a lot of negations that GGTY has done. I don't know if we could see the items once again for just a quick recap coming in from GGTY, but they build like Hex Drinker from the first couple of minutes, right? Rogue, second item, Hex Drinker. For then, Mothmal Mortius, second item, and then to the Force Nature. So there's a lot of these negations for magic resistance that when it comes to Lorem Ipsum's draft is 4 AP champions dependent.
Yeah, and
So not really shouting damage.
yeah. I mean, you did mention that as well. Like the only AD damage was coming in from YF, and we also talked about the win condition again. And honestly, I think this is something that Lorem Ipsum should really kind of like think about, like putting so much, win conditions onto their team. We talked about what if the Kha'Zix isn't able to get the picks, and this is exactly what's going on. Kha'Zix only has 1 kill in total, was rendered pretty much useless throughout the entire match, wasn't able to farm, wasn't able to get picks. How was he supposed to scale?
I don't know. I can't answer that.
I mean, you saw the answer.
Hypothetically,
You can't
right?
do anything.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's difficult.
it is really difficult, and I think in a comp like that, I think they need to find different ways of playing it. I really gotta give it to GGTY. They said it's okay if we don't play too meta, it's okay if we don't have a specific comp to work with, so long as we know ourselves how to play the game and how to respond to certain rotations, certain pushes, certain attacks. I think we're gonna be good, and that's why exactly they want to play. They just played it real. I think they just played it the way as any other game would be. They didn't have to think about it too much. It's not a situation where they kind of have to do, okay, we want to put this specific instance for us to win.
Yeah, definitely. Just a massive win coming from GGTY, winning that series 2-0. However, still commendable plays coming from Lorem Ipsum. Played really well from that game number 2. Playing it very safe in the first couple of minutes in that game. But that's a series for now. It's a quarterfinals from Wild Rift Open 2 from FSL. I'm Infinity in this, Tash Bunny, your casters for Series 1. We will still have more for later on, so don't go away.
Let me go, there's no doubt. Gotta get out of this small town. You took my heart from me, now you're everywhere I see. Set me free, let me fly. Let me find new kinds of highs. We're just wasting here, waiting for another year. We both know the score. We've been here once before. So many words unspoken. You took my heart, it's already broken. You don't have to wait. I can take the pain. I will surrender. Let me go on a new adventure. explore the world and find my place. Hope you find some peace of mind. Hope the night was worth your time. Threw my heart away, we won't see another day. We both know the score, we've been here once before. So many words unspoken, you took my heart, it's already broken. You don't have to wait, I can take the pain. I will surrender, let me go. It's a new adventure. On a new adventure. You find me dancing on my own, nowhere to be, nowhere to go. In the rhythm, I don't think of you. Don't call me up when you're feeling blue. You find me dancing on my own, nowhere to be, nowhere to go. In the rhythm, I don't think of you. Let me go. It's a new adventure. On the new adventure. I got you and your vibes in my mind, I can't get them out, no matter how hard I try. I need you and your heart next to mine, yeah, I'm all about keeping it you and I. When you're here, you spark chemical reactions. Your aura strikes like lightning. Got no words, I'm just drowning in attraction. Only one way to describe it. It's electric, can you feel it? You got the only touch that takes me high. It's electric, I'm up in my feelings. Got double vision 'cause of you tonight. It's electric. go, there's no doubt. Gotta get out of this small town. You took my heart from me, now you're everywhere I see. Set me free, let me fly, let me find new kinds of highs. We're just wasting here, waiting for another year. We both know the score, we've been here once before. So many words unspoken, you took my heart, it's already broken. You don't have to wait, I can take the pain. I will surrender, let me go on a new adventure. It's my time, watch me build another life. Find another space, explore the world and find my place. Hope you find some peace of mind. Hope the night was worth your time. Threw my heart away, we won't see another day. We both know the score, we've been here once before. So many words unspoken, you took my heart, it's already broken. You don't have to wait, I can take the pain. I will surrender, let me go. It's a new adventure. On a new adventure. Adventure. I got you and your vibes in my mind, I can't get them out, no matter how hard I try. I need you and your heart next to mine, yeah, I'm all about keeping it you and I. When you're here, you spark chemical reactions. Your aura strikes like lightning. Got no words, I'm just drowning in attraction. Only one way to describe it. It's electric, can you feel it? You got the only touch that takes me high. It's electric, I'm up in my feelings. Got double vision 'cause of you tonight. It's electric. On the double vision 'cause of you tonight. It's electric. Double vision. I get lost in your eyes every time. Intoxicated by you, yeah. It's electric. Intoxicate me like you do, yeah. Like you do. It's electric. Can you feel it? You got the only touch that takes me high. It's electric. I'm up in my feelings. Got double vision 'cause of you tonight. It's electric. I'm up in my feelings. It's electric. You spark those chemical reactions. It's electric. Your aura strikes like lightning. It's electric. No, I ain't got a chance. I got no words, no words. It's electric. Need you in the heart next to mine. It's electric.
Let me go, there's no doubt. Gotta get out of this small town. You took my heart from me, now you're everywhere I see. Set me free, let me fly. Let me find new kinds of highs. We're just wasting here, waiting for another year. We both know the score. We've been here once before. So many words unspoken. You took my heart, it's already broken. You don't have to wait. I can take the pain. I will surrender. Let me go on a new adventure. On a new adventure. On a new adventure. On a new adventure. Let me go, it's my time. Watch me build another life. Find another space. Explore the world and find my place. Hope you find some peace of mind. Hope the night was worth your time. Threw my heart away. We won't see another day. We both know the score. We've been here once before. So many words unspoken. You took my heart, it's already broken. You don't have to wait. I can take the pain. I will surrender. Let me go. It's a new adventure. On a new adventure.
adventure. I got you and your vibes in my mind, I can't get them out, no matter how hard I try. I need you and your heart next to mine, yeah, I'm all about keeping it you and I. When you're here, you spark chemical reactions, your aura strikes like lightning. Got no words, I'm just drowning in attraction. Only one way to describe it. It's electric, can you feel it? You got the only touch that takes me high. It's electric, I'm up in my feelings. Got double vision 'cause of you tonight. It's electric.
There's no doubt, gotta get out of this small town. You took my heart from me, now you're everywhere I see. Set me free, let me fly, let me find new kinds of highs. We're just wasting here, waiting for another year. We both know the score, we've been here once before. So many words unspoken, you took my heart, it's already broken. You don't have to wait, I can take the pain. I will surrender, let me go on a new adventure. Watch me build another life, find another space, explore the world and find my place. Hope you find some peace of mind. Hope the night was worth your time. Through my heart.
Welcome back, everyone, to FSL Wild Rift Open 2. And I'll be your sole shoutcaster right now. I'm Infinity. Unfortunately, Tash Bunny has to do something important, but I'm here, and we're going in for the semifinals between Grind Sky Aries and Pizza Team. This is already the semifinals, wherein Grind Sky Aries is the first seed from Group A, wherein they dropped no games, 0 games in Group A. And for Pizza Team, they only lost against GGTY, but aside from that, they won every single other games. It's really exciting to see how this would turn out. And just a quick trivia onto Grand Sky Aries, that they are the Southeast Asia Games representatives of the Philippine region. So it's going to be a banger. It's going to be exciting. What can we expect from these games? I absolutely have no idea. Especially right now, we're playing in the patch 3.1b, the live servers already. So the buffs, the nerfs, everything in between is already being implemented on this tournament right now as we speak. So we'll see how this turns out as we jump into the draft pretty soon between Grand Sky Aries and Pizza Team, with Ziggs, Galio, Irelia banned away, Yumi, Karma, and Camille for Pizza Team. So Jace is open, Galio is not open, but Seth is open for Pizza Team to pick up. And just a trivia that Jace is probably the most flexible pick that you can get here in the Rift, alongside with other champions such as the Gragas as well, because Jace can be flexed in the jungle, can be flexed in mid lane, bot lane, top lane. So really flexible pick here, but since the Lulu is open, Pizza Team can now pick it up. And what's good with Lulu? It's pretty much Kaisa, Vayne. All these champions are really good with this champion. So there's still an option for Pizza Team to pick it up. But Jarvan 4 will be there for them to have this lockdown potential, as the Cataclysm is really a huge viable option when it comes to team fights, locking down onto certain champions and forcing out flashes from the opposing team. And with that said, Grand Sky Aries will now be answering with the Sinjao. And this is not really the most expected pick when it comes to the jungle, but Sinjao in the recent days is underrated. The amount of projectile hits that it denies from the enemy team using his ultimate, Crescent Guard, is really important. And considering that you have a Lulu from the opposing team, this could be an option for them, saying, you know what, we'll pick up the Sinjao and be a champion that can rely on the ultimate if ever it comes down into a Lucian pick or something that produces a lot of damage from a distance. So definitely something that Grind Sky Aries is going to do here. And now Riven to follow through for Grind Sky Aries as they want to pick this up. And I think Riven is one of the flexible picks as well when it comes to WCS Philippines, as it has been flexed in the jungle, it has been flexed in the mid lane as well. So really great start here for the first couple of picks. The first 3 picks from both teams are great, although Jarvan 4 is something that I'm thinking about, like what will be the synergy that we can think about when it comes to a Jarvan 4. The Flag and Drag will be a great weaponry for Pizza Team though when it comes to level 3, so expected at level 3 for Jarvan 4 to be visiting mid lane or bot lane. But now when it comes to the bans, we have a Morgana and a Senna ban coming in from Pizza Team, considering that Grind Sky Aries still doesn't have any support. For Grind Sky Aries, they're looking to ban away the mid laners that has huge potentials to set up the team fight, which is Orianna, one of the most evergreen champion here in the Rift. Orianna can be that flexible pick when it comes to providing shields for his team, providing movement speed, and at the same time being that huge engage with the shockwave. So batting it away is something with huge respect against Pizza Team along with Ari. However, with these two champions being banned, you have the Gragas open for Pizza Team to pick up. We talked about Gragas just a while back when it comes to just engaging, and its ability to engage and disengage on team fights is going to be a huge value for Pizza Team. Right now for Kaisa. What will that pick be, as Caitlyn will be locked in? A champion which doesn't really shout the current meta in WCS Philippines domestically in the region. Didn't see a lot of wins. It wasn't the best pick in the ADC role, but consider the Grind Sky Ares will be picking it up. The utilization of this poke composition will be of huge value, as right now Pizza Team has one last pick remaining. Could potentially be the mid lane still, as Gragas could be top lane if ever Pizza Team do decide to go for this specific role to be on top lane. And with Diana being locked in, expected Diana mid lane here for Pizza Team, matched up against the Jace for Grind Sky Ares. And for the supports, it's Janna and Lulu. ADC, it's Lucian versus Caitlyn. In this draft, it's a semifinals. It's Grind Sky versus Pizza Team, matching it up for game number 1 for FSL Wild Rift Open 2022. And of course, shoutouts to the sponsors and partners of this event, Yahoo and Intel. Thank you very much for supporting this tournament, as it would haven't been possible without you guys. And 20 seconds for both teams to be able to prepare what they need to. Skills, spells, the runes. We're jumping soon for game number 1. We're jumping soon here in the Rift. And some notable players to take note of for Grind Sky Ares is Less of You, their ADC. Having this Caitlyn could be a potential star player here for Grind Sky Ares, and for Pizza Team, something that we need to look at would be their Dragon Laner plus Babby, their jungler. Two of their highly mechanical players here for Pizza. Something interesting that I'm looking at right now would be, it's the mid lane matchup, as Diana will not really have the greatest of times up against Jace because of the pokes that will be available in the mid lane. So we'll see how that would turn out, as right now we're jumping into the Rift for game number 1 of the semifinals of FSL Wild Rift Open 2 between Grind Sky Ares and Pizza Team once again. The first couple of seconds in this matchup, it's Pizza Team looking to go for a support. And then for now, if ever something happens, something occurs, they could support really quickly. But Ray is now in trouble. It's a 2v1 as Zanisha is just punishing Ray. The brink of death with only 1 bar remaining on his HP bar, but considering his HP is that low, he could just utilize his range potential as a Jace to be able to impact and just farm freely against Diana in the mid lane. And for now, we're looking at damage items here for Grind Sky Ares to start this off. They have long sword across 4 members of their team: Wanheda, Angelai, Lila, Ray, and Less of You to have extra damage in the early game. And for Gia, you also have the Magic Book to deal more AP damage if ever it comes down to it. And with Caitlyn and Janna being in the same lane up against Lucian and Lulu, you have a lot of pokes to be able to utilize. But as we stated a while ago, Jarvan 4 at level 3 could be expected to go and visit a lane, especially with the flag and drag available for himself. But Wanheda playing very safely, go back easily up against Pizza Team. And for now, they're going for the trade 1-for-1 when it comes to Rift Scuttlers. They don't want to go for a contest, as Ray doesn't really have any prio here in the mid lane, considering the early engage coming from Lulu and Zanisha. But right now, it's Angela Lila coming through into the mid lane. Flag and drag knocks up onto the jungler. As first blood comes through for Pizza Team, getting that solo kill onto one Heda. No kills for the mid lane though, so great response there with a 1-for-1 on top lane as one Heda takes it back in the first 2 minutes. However, with the first blood coming into knock, have the 200 gold lead up against one Heda. Not really greatest of leads, but still quite considerable since we're talking about the Baron lane. Now one Heda talking about 2v1 fights. One Heda looks to retreat as Babby is there to respond. It's a 1-for-1. Now Angela Lila just gets demolished with the Cataclysm for Babby taking that kill. And now Gia goes into the mid lane. Something expected in the past in the professional scene or in the support goes into the mid lane. So if ever an objective comes up, a quick response could be let through. So great roam here from Gia. First couple of minutes. And right now, something interesting that I'm looking at for Grand Sky Ares is we're expecting a 3 Black Cleaver for GS as they got the Phage plus the Ruby Crystal in the first 3 minutes of this matchup. So an expectations for it against Pizza Team. When it comes to sustainability will not be as much. You could have hoped so. Black Cleaver gives you extra penetration, gives you a lot more shred up against Pizza Team right now. And with Caitlyn having the BF Sword as his first item, could be a Storm Razor for herself. And now 2v1 or 1v1 rather in the mid lane. Ray up against Anisha, trading some damage, but once again the Rift Cutler going to be something that Grind Sky has their eyes locked on with the Infernal Drake up. One of the most important objectives in this matchup or in the Rift going to be started immediately by Grind Sky Ares since Pizza Team is just now resetting. Now Babby tad bit late to the party with Grind Sky Esports putting their HP now down to half HP. And now Grind Sky secures the Infernal Drake. Pizza has to return back to safety, but Babby has the Guardian Angel, so if ever they want to go for an all-in, they could force out fights because of the safety net that Babby has. And now with Infernal Drake being taken by Grind Sky, Pizza Team is patting themselves way up to the Rift Herald to get the 1-for-1 objective trade. And with Angela Lila not being close or nearby, Pizza Team will get the Rift Herald uncontested. It's a 1-for-1 when it comes to an objective trade. Lucian is left standing here in the bot lane and matching it up, defending that tier 1 turret. So no tower being taken so far for Grind Sky Ares and Pizza Team. Rift Herald spawned already on top lane, looking to punish 2 lanes at the same time, mid lane, top lane. This Grind Sky is able to defend it so far when Heda just jumping right in. The Rift Herald getting that charge, but not enough to punish it. So far, Pizza Team will not secure that turret, and Grind Sky is looking safely here in the first 5 minutes of the matchup. However, 2 kill deficit already for Grind Sky at the moment, but not really that far when it comes to the gold deficit here for Grind Sky. Now with 3 Black Cleavers already unlocked for Heda, Angela Lila, and Ray. Expect a little bit more fights in the next couple of minutes, with Storm Razor already secured as well for Caitlyn. Now Diana, Cream-Man looking to kill her. Zanisha is in danger. Now Tornado coming from Gia knocks him up, forcing out the flash from Zanisha back into safety. So Summoner Spell advantage for Grind Sky. Now Pizza Team looking for the Tower First Blood as they pat themselves with a 2-man roll on top lane. Heda is in danger, uses up the flash to go back to safety. Great for the Cataclysm. Now Angelila looks for the other side of the map. Looking for the kill, looking for the trade up against Lucian, but will not be able to do so as they still have the flash, they have the exhaust if ever it comes down to an all-in here, as Pizza Team is now going for the 2-man roll mid lane. Moonfall going to be great, going to be flawless as Ray is under the turret, but Pizza Team just forces this out, but Ray gets the trade back with a 1-for-1 as Gragas went in, stepped too far ahead under the turret. Angelila going to get all the aggro, going to get all the damage coming from Pizza Team. Uses up the barrier to stay alive for a bit longer from GS skill set. Not be able to secure the kill, so that will be the 2-for-1 in favor of Pizza Team. And right now, Pizza is looking great and fantastic in this early game. Now with the really coming from Caitlyn. And the information getting the damage out onto Lucian. But for now, expectedly, and when it comes to Lucian, this will be their hyper carries later on. As Gragas, Govern 4 will be the peel of Lucian from Pizza. We have the funnel in gold. Stormrazor already secured for both ADCs from both teams. And look at Babby hatting themselves into the mid lane with the Angelila being there as well. She can force some fights immediately into the mid lane. So if he does, it's going to be a counter engage from Grind Sky Ares. With that said, Grind Sky is doing fantastic here. They're playing very safe. They're not forcing out fights, considering that Pizza has the advantage in the first 5 minutes into the matchup. Now with the Cloud Dragon being available, Grind Sky is looking for the engage, looking to contest how Pizza Team wants to go for the dominance onto the Dragon Pit. As Pizza gets a Scar's Bloom, has the information that Grind Sky is taking that Cloud Drake. But they're turning! And now it's Xin Zhao going for the Crescent Guard. Will be able to secure the Cloud Dragon. Pizza Team will lose the opportunity to get that steal. And now with split fight, it's Grind Sky Ares fighting against Pizza on the hill. Now looking for that mid lane. Gets the pick off onto Lulu. That's a triple for Grind Sky. Now with the mid lane open, they can force out and open up the mid lane. Map control is going to be open as well. Now the sniper is talking. Let the gun speak. As Less of You takes another kill in the mid lane. And now it's a nice third takedown from Grind Sky Ares as they open up the mid lane in their favor. However, Rift Herald going to be the next point of contest here for Pizza Team as they pat themselves here onto the Rift Herald pit. Babby is here though. No information from Grind Sky on top of the hill. And now it's Babby. What's Knock? They're here and ready to fight. Knock has the explosive cast. Their ultimates for the remaining team for Pizza is still loading. Calling is ready though. Not gonna be enough time. Pizza will lose that opportunity once again. Grind Sky Ares is taking every single objective away from Pizza. It's a 3 out of 4 objectives secured by Grind Sky so far. 1 Rift Herald, 2 Dragons in their favor, while Pizza only able to secure 1 Rift Herald for their team. And right now, it's Angelila going to the front lines, matching up against Lucian, but with a wild growth. A lot of safety net there for Lucian in mid lane. Now looking at the opposite side of this matchup, it's Pizza Team looking to struggle to defend the tier 1 turret in top lane as Grind Sky secures another turret in their favor. In the mid lane, Angelila is here to save the day, defending the mid lane. Gia from the backside looking for the flank. The knockup is there. One Hedda is coming through to follow up. The smite will slow him down, will give him a true damage, and that will secure the kill once again for Grind Sky as Less of You is looking for another kill as just the Dream forces out the flash over the wall. The poke will not be able to connect. Gia coming through with a flash. Will secure the kill, but Knock is there to counter engage. Zunisha is there. It's a 2v2. One Hedda, great stun. Moonfall ready forced. Not gonna be enough to put them back to safety. That explosive cast will just be there. Deny further engage from Grind Sky. They taking everything down from Pizza. They're eating each slice one by one here in the semifinals. And in years past, Grind Sky Ares was consistently top 3 in FSL. They're consistently one of the best teams that FSL Wadrift has produced. They're currently here battling against Pizza Team as well, looking to contest the title that Grind Sky has built over the past months, over the past years here in FSL. And just a quick preview as well, that Pizza Team, right now, this roster, this team, it's the first time that they're playing here in FSL Wadrift Open. It's their first time playing here in this magnificent tournament, and right now they're playing even footing up against Grind Sky Ares. Zanisha though, to be in trouble as Grind Sky Ares is in enemy territory, in enemy jungle. And Pizza has this information, but Ngok onto the flank as Ocean Drake is available. Pizza Team has to deny this, because if they don't, it's more sustainability for Grind Sky, gives them Omnivamp for each player for Grind Sky. Now Delilah going to the front lines, leading the charge. Explosive cast already used. Last of You down to half HP. Redemption will bring back a little bit more HP back. Now 1v1 and Delilah looks to engage, looking for the flank. Look at one Hedda just jumping right through into the backside, but Last of You already dies as Pizza Team just shreds him down. A double kill ready for Zanisha. It's now Pizza. Just a great counter engage that Grind Sky Ares is doing up against them. And with those two kills, they can start the Ocean Drake in their favor. Without the jungler for Grind Sky, it's going to be a breeze for Pizza to take it down. That dragon is going to be important for them, as it will give extra sustainability coming in from Lucian. But now Ray Ray comes in looking for the contest as Pizza looks to get the Ocean Dragon. So in trade, it was a kill. It's a 1-for-1 as Ray Ray dies, and Babby also dies from the opposing team. Very low. When Hedda and Gia is also low, they have to retreat. They have to go back away. The Baron Nashor is alive if ever. When Hedda and Gia dies, Pizza can go directly onto the Baron Nashor. But for now, they're looking to back away. Despite Pizza Team being able to take a lot of these kills in 13 minutes off that matchup, Grind Sky rather still has the 2k gold lead, a dragon objective advantage up against Pizza for the semifinals. And they're now just playing towards the waves. They have to clear the lanes to be able to shove it against the opposing team. Lane prio at this stage of the matchup will be very crucial for both teams, as the one who gets a Baron Nashor will gain the advantage if ever you have lane prio. Great vision there for Pizza Team though. I like how Babby is just getting the flag onto the Baron pit, being able to get that vision in, as there's no ward there for any single team at the moment. Now when it comes to Ray Ray, he's all alone on the top side, and she understands she's on the weak side of the map, so she has to go back away. Because Lulu is there and the Gragas is there as well. So no one's forcing out fights for now. Everyone's playing for safety. And what Ngok is building is not AP damage. She's going for a Bramble Vest. She's going for Deadmans and Sunfire Aegis to be able to gain more defensive capacity for his team. As we stated a while ago, Lucian will be the hyper carry of Pizza, as Diana, as Jarvan 4, as Gragas will be the engager, will be the initiator for Pizza. So the only thing that they're relying on right now would be Lucian to be able to impact when it comes to damage output. What Grind Sky can do is just go to the back lines, as so what Hedda did just a while back. Right now, Gia down low, half HP already as Pizza Team looks to back away as they see Ray Ray just on the horizon of that matchup. But right now, it's looking like Grind Sky Ares. This is their domain. If you step foot, you could just punish. Really safe for now for both teams. 2 Divine Thunders for Grind Sky, 3 Black Cleavers. Divine Thunder will give you a lot more HP and sustainability. And that is what Grind Sky Ares needs. And on top of all that, when it comes to the damage output, Divine Thunder scales against the max HP of the opposing enemy that it hits. So, up against Gragas, up against Jarvan 4, and even Diana of Pizza. This will be a great deal for Grind Sky Ares to be able to impact the 5v5 matches. However, the Mountain Elder Drake will be up in 15 seconds, and Grind Sky Ares and Pizza Team, if ever one of these teams will be able to secure this, will give them a huge edge in this matchup. So as of yet, Pizza is looking to play very safe, and Grind Sky Ares is not risking to do something that could change the tides of this matchup, as they already have 3k gold lead in their pockets. They have the advantage in the series so far in the semifinals for game number 1. Grind Sky Ares is just there. Pizza Team is also there. Having that vision from both teams is going to be important on both objectives, and Pizza Team has this information for them, but not for long. Gia just uses up the sweeper and gets the denying the ward, denying the vision there. Forcing out Ngok, forcing out the rest of the crew for Pizza to be able to respond here into the Dragon Pit. Scuttler secured by Grind Sky Ares as they start the Mountain Elder Drake. But once again, could be a double bluff here for Grind Sky as they did in the past. Could be just baiting Pizza come through the fight and engage, but they all have their ultimates ready for Pizza Team, so they're going for it as Babby just jumps into the fight. Ray down low, Moonfall already down. States his entrance though, or Angelila buy some time, a bit more time to be able to impact that Mountain Elder Drake, but for now, no one's taking it as Grind Sky Ares will secure the Mountain Elder Dragon, will give them the true damage as they take 4 kills, make it 5 as they get the ace away from Pizza, and now they're able to look for the finish as every single one is down from Pizza. The Grind Sky is looking for the mid lane. They have the capacity to finish this game. Inhib is already down, Nexus is already open, and the minions are pushing in. And with Pizza getting ace just a while back, Grind Sky strikes first in the semifinals. Fantastic game that Grind Sky Ares has done here for game number 1. It was really stagnant for the early game up until the mid game as Grind Sky was able to just play around and dance around the melody that Pizza Team is doing. But Pizza looked fantastic there in the early game. They were looking for those kills. They were looking for those advantage. But with Grind Sky being able to take 2 dragons already for their side in the first 5 minutes, first 15 minutes rather, they were just able to scale much further. And with Ray and Caitlyn, less of you being the dependent damage dealer for Grind Sky Ares, they don't have to worry about back lines that much, as Ray and less of you would have that ability rather to just dance around against Pizza Team. But great game 1 for the semifinals here for FSL Wild Rift Open. Alright, we're back. That was just a fantastic game number 1 once again. Wild Rift Open 2 here. We're already at the semifinals. Grind Sky Ares, the undefeated team, the first seed in the Group A. The Pizza Team being the second seed in Group B. So Grind Sky Ares takes the first game here in the semifinals. Match point already up against Pizza Team. If ever Pizza doesn't do anything, this will be their doom. Once again, I'm Infinity, and that is game number 1. We're going to take a short break, but when we come back, it's game 2. Match point for Grind Sky Ares here in the semifinals.
got you and your vibes in my mind, I can't get them out, no matter how hard I try. I need you and your heart next to mine. Yeah, I'm all about keeping it you and I. When you're here, you spark chemical reactions. Your aura strikes like lightning. Got no words, I'm just drowning in attraction. Only one way to describe it. It's electric, can you feel it? You got the only touch that takes me high. It's electric, I'm up in my feelings. Got double vision 'cause of you tonight. It's electric.
There's no doubt, gotta get out of this small town. You took my heart from me, now you're everywhere I see. Set me free, let me fly, let me find new kinds of highs. We're just wasting here, waiting for another year. We both know the score, we've been here once before. So many words unspoken, you took my heart, it's already broken. You don't have to wait, I can take the pain. I will surrender, let me go on a new adventure. waste my time. Watch me build another life. Find another space. Explore the world and find my place. Hope you find some peace of mind. Hope the night was worth your time. Threw my heart away. We won't see another day. We both know the score. We've been here once before. So many words unspoken. You took my heart, it's already broken. You don't have to wait. I can take the pain. I will surrender, let me go. It's a new adventure. On a new adventure. You'll find me dancing on my own. Nowhere to be, nowhere to go. In the rhythm, I don't think of you. Don't call me up when you're feeling blue. You'll find me dancing on my own. Nowhere to be, nowhere to go. In the rhythm, I don't think of you. Let me go. It's a new adventure. On the new adventure.
I got you and your vibes in my mind. I can't get them out, no matter how hard I try. I need you and your heart next to mine. Yeah, I'm all about keeping it you and I. When you're here, you spark chemical reactions. Your aura strikes like lightning. Got no words, I'm just drowning in attraction. Only one way to describe it. It's electric, can you feel it? You got the only touch that takes me high. It's electric, I'm up in my feelings. Got double vision 'cause of you tonight. It's electric. Lost in your eyes every time, there's no turning back. Swear I ain't got a chance. Had me caught up in you since the night on the
Hello everyone and welcome back to the FSL Wild Rift Open 2. I'm Tash Bunny alongside Infinity and we are your casters for tonight. I'm so sorry just now I had to step up for one game where Infinity was just filling me on just the details in general, where just now we saw such a long game number 1.
Yeah, it was just a brawl, but not a quick brawl. It was a long brawl for everyone, for both teams, as it was like Pizza Team getting the early game and Grind Sky just playing the late game.
Honestly, it's actually really smart. I did catch up some little things as well. And what I could say about Grind Sky is that they are a team that are very patient. Definitely not scared to play the less used champions for sure. I mean, we talked about supports, how like the top S tier right now is Yumi, Nami, as well as Lulu. But looks like they made Janna work.
Absolutely. And I'm curious, because right now we're only seeing Karma as of yet in the mid lane, and I think Karma is just really strong, even as a support. It can give you a lot of these movement speed, and it enables a lot of champions such as the Ezreal and Jhin. And interestingly, we have Trinity Force buffed, right? In patch
Yeah.
3.1b, it gives you a lot more damage, it gives you a lot more HP damage from the Sheen unique passive. So it's interesting how this would turn out. Is Ezreal going to go out here in the semifinals for Wild Rift Open, even tomorrow in the grand finals? I'm curious.
I'm actually curious too. I mean, when we think about WCS, I think Ezreal was definitely one of those ADCs that got picked toward the end because of the changes that came to some items as well. And when you think about it, Ezreal also does benefit from the new items, which was Divine Sunder, which I thought was very, very interesting. But I don't think we've seen that yet.
Yeah, it was a debatable a debatable item. Are we going for like an IBG or Iceborne Gauntlet for more CC and more slow, but still giving you a lot more sustainability and damage as well? Or are you going for Divine Thunder? Or are you going for, Trinity Force, since right now it has been buffed? So there's just a lot of options for Ezreal at the moment. And I think when it comes to Triforce, it's just expensive. Divine Thunder, you just want more damage when it comes to tanks, and IBG is just CC. So just a huge disparity between the items.
Yeah,
Ezreal.
I think that's what's great about Ezreal. I mean, when you mentioned before, when you can definitely the same bans that we see on international tournaments that are out there right now. And I think both teams are very meta based, I would say, when it comes to these sort of picks.
Yeah, and speaking of Karma, we're seeing Karma right now for your Pizza Team, which I definitely like to see.
I mean, have you
But-
ever seen a Karma paired with a Orianna? Because I have.
Karma or Yana, no. But I've seen a Karma mid lane go with a Lulu bot lane.
Oh, wow.
And Karma in the mid lane also be building like support.
Yeah, I think that's more of a funnel comp. But coming back to what I was talking about, Karma and Orianna, imagine the Shockwave as well as the Karma all just two pools all together. That is devastating, and that's a really big area that these two ults cover.
Yeah, and add in a Galio.
Oh man, I don't know what to say. That kind of comp just scares me. I see those picks and I'm just like, yeah, I'm out. But for now though, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry? Like, if you're battling against that composition, might as well not go for any team fights at all.
just split push and just play a
Yeah.
different way, because there's no point. There's
push
too
to
much
victory.
area of CC covered. But when you think right now though, I think Gragas is definitely one of the top picks. He's just so versatile. You can play him mid, you can play him support, you can play him. I've seen him play jungle, I've seen him play. Honestly, he can play anywhere. What did you think?
Definitely would be, because Gragas is just really strong. Like, the body stam can give stun, it can give engage, and will also have a lot of disengage potential with the explosive cast. But what I woed about, quote unquote woed, is the Senna Nasus.
Oh
I
yeah.
haven't seen this for the longest time, but in the past, in Icon series, probably in summer or fall split, Senna Nasus was just obliterating the meta in the dual lane. And I don't know if this
Yeah.
is going to be a Nasus top lane or Nasus bot lane, but it's interesting to see infinite scaling for both champions.
Yeah, that's right. Because Senna doesn't really need farm. She can just take from her passive those souls. And then for Nasus, he just take and stack whatever he needs. I did see Nasus picked once during WCSMYSG, and that was bad because how they wanted to play him was an aggressive push champion down on Dragon Lane. So I have yet to see a successful Nasus. But one thing that I'm very curious or just scared about in terms of Nasus is that it takes so long for him to come online. And in most situations, a lot longer than even a Vayne could come online.
Oh yeah, definitely. Although interestingly enough, having this couple of discussions with you for FSL Wild Rift Open since the quarterfinals, I'm looking at a huge disparity between MYSG and Philippine region. Because Nasus in the Philippines, so when it comes to like the regular season, has been prevalent.
It's
It
very
has been
different,
picked
right?
consistently. So it's just amazing to see. And Nasus in the regular season, in the same manner, did not see really a great run, but still being picked up a couple of times.
Yeah, but honestly, I was talking to a pro team here in Malaysia, Singapore, and they said Fembelwinter, the item on Nasus as first item is honestly really good. What is your opinion on that?
Yeah, it definitely is. And especially right now with Fimbulwinter having some adjustments, right? Before it gives you like mana, it gives you like ability haze, but now the passive gives you like HP for the mana that you have. So it's really, really nice for a Nasus considering that you're going for more of a tank Nasus that scales when it comes to damage and Q. Because really, when you only think about the Q, it already deals a lot of damage. And when you
Yeah.
build like a Fimbulwinter with IBG, CC, HP, tank, damage galore, everything above is going to be on a Nasus.
Yeah, that's right. But now you've seen the last pick here for Vayne, which is a Vayne. And Vayne is it's a very interesting situation. You either farm until you finally catch up in the late game, or you can snowball early if your teammates are able to set it up for you. But when you think about it again, I think this Vayne pick is great. When you go against Dunu Willem, when you go against Nasus, it's just so great for her to play around that. At the same time, she has a comp that can enable her or get her these picks that she really needs to snowball her early.
Yeah, I like how you mentioned about the team comp that will be able to help Vayne in the early game, especially Karma. I'm looking at Karma specifically because we talked about, right, in the quarterfinals when Karma has been picked, that the shield gives you movement speed.
Yeah.
And on top of all that, she has a lot of utilities. So having Vayne in the same lineup, having Vayne and Karma in the same lane will just give you movement speed for Vayne, will give you barrier and shield for Vayne when it comes to peeling and just defensive capacity. So it's really, really strong in the dual lane. So a lot of expectations there. And especially, as you stated, matched up against Luna and Willem and Nasus expectedly are tanks. And Vayne's just gonna shred that HP down.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm surprised that no one picked up Lulu, since Lulu was actually available, and we all know the best support for Vayne or any other ADC actually is Lulu. I'm really interested to see how Karma will be able to do this. I mean, when you think about it again, in terms of how Karma is, she and Lulu provide kind of like the same thing that goes on. Because right now we remember that Vayne was actually nerfed a little bit in terms of her movement speed, and I think that is also one reason why she's still viable, because she can be paired with these sort of supports. Either way though, I still prefer seeing her with a Lulu because of the third skill, which gives her the extra damage. But I've yet to see how a Karma can do this. I can't imagine how it can actually help her with the positioning, but we'll just have to wait and see how it goes eventually.
Yeah, and I think it's just a difficult situation for Pizza Team because when we looked at the pattern of the draft or the pacing of the draft, Karma was picked first or second by Pizza Team, and by then they don't have any other choice to pick Lulu because they already picked Gragas as their third pick, I believe. And when Grind Sky Ares was doing their picks, it was a Nasus Senna second and third pick. So they're just adjusting, going with the flow on what Grind Sky Ares is doing, and I think it's just right now their most viable option. Karma Vayne bot lane.
Yeah, I really I really gotta say, Dream, look at that damage that's coming in from her. And I like how proactive she is as well when it comes to making sure that she can put in as much damage to less of you, because when she's low enough, it gives Vayne that how do I say this, that freedom to just go and tumble forward and go as aggressive as she wants to.
Absolutely. And right now, we're seeing the expectations that you set for us just a while back, right? Gia building onto a Sapphire Crystal, most expectedly a Fimble Winter to be their priority as the first pick. And then the second could be more of a flex. Could be IBG, could be um, Rylai's, depending on the situation. But for now, mid laners doing mid laners thing.
I thought that was something big happening when I saw the explosive cast come out. Guess that's not gonna be happening. But I am really happy to see more Nunu Willem, especially toward the end of the season right now, especially with some changes coming in. We do know that Nunu Willem is a huge playmaker, a huge play potential as well. And we do know, I think there was a buff, I believe, to his ultimate. Sub-Zero. Yeah, it was Sub-Zero. I think it was higher damage, but low early, high later. I believe it was. I think it's more of an adjustment than anything. And then sometimes when you think about patch notes, the thing is like they say, oh, it's a nerf, but then again, when you think about it, not really. But look at this, a choo-choo train of pain is coming. Vayne
Snowball,
tumbles out of
absolutely
there.
amazing coming from Grand Sky, but just a tumble from Vayne, very quick with a flash as well. Back to safety immediately from that mist from Grand Sky. And this is just the power of Senna. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's right. But look at that. He did a double. He was like, I'm not happy that she got out. I'm gonna make a U-turn and see if I can work again. But I think that ward really, really helped them. I think that's what we talk about in terms of like jungle control and proactive play styles, which really saved them at this point. Because they really, really need to take care of the Vayne to make sure that she doesn't fall off. Because like it or not, the only damage dealer on the team will be her as well as Kha'Zix. But it can also be the Gragas. Zunisha can do damage as well if she decides to go full-on AP.
And it looks like it. He's going for potentially a Luden's Echo first item or a Roa, but Roa needs their build path. So Luden's Echo priority here for Zunisha. So as you stated, an AP build path here for Gragas for Pizza team. So another damage dealer there for Pizza alongside with Vayne. And when we looked back just a while back with Nunu going for Snowball, I think another thing that helped is with Karma, with a slow on her poke. Just slowing Angelila, denying that Snowball, so it wasn't able to just fully scale, fully roll into a bigger Snowball.
You can't go do the choo-choo train of pain, but look at that, immediately. They're gonna try and go for a trade here, what do you think?
Jumping onto Less of You, using it to flash immediately with a miss. Going back to safety. A great gank there from Babby.
Yeah, that's right, but not Angelila coming in from top here as well. So many people coming. How many people are coming bot lane here? Are you looking at this?
Yeah, they just have to punish Vayne. We talked about Vayne being the hyper care for Pizza. When it comes to the late game, Grind Sky Ares is on a disadvantage. Now, Angelila uses up the flash over the wall. No more flash for the Cloud Drake take. For now, no kills still. 4 minutes into the matchup.
Yeah, that's right. Really gotta say though, that rotation was amazing. They came down, helped bot, immediately rotate up and take Dragon.
Snowball will miss. Angelila is in the middle of the ulti with Karma. Senna ulti will give a little bit more shield, but Gragas will be able to secure the kill. The flash is already going to be burned. 2 for 1. Traded. The Grind Sky Ares is looking for more as they take 3 away from Pizza.
Oh my god, that was just so well played. You did see Nunu try to put in that damage with the ultimate, but the problem is it takes a while for that channel to come through. Despite that though, it's just really, really surprising because one thing about GS is that yes, they did get the dragon, it was fine, but they made sure that they're gonna be punished for taking that dragon. We're gonna make sure that we can engage as much as we can, not giving them the breathing space that they need.
Yeah. The only thing that I'm looking at right now is Wanheda. Akali building onto a Divine Sunder. And yes, it's normal. We've seen it in the past in WCS Philippine region with the Akali top lane having a Divine Sunder as a first item. But with the draft, with the Senna Nasus in the same lineup and Nuna and Willem in the draft as well, you're relying on Akali to deal damage. And Divine Sunder is not really going to deal that much, but speaking of which, Karma is already down. Grind Sky Ares has got the 1-for-1 trade with Vayne into the back lines. Blast Cone away into the Rift Herald pit, back to safety. Set. 4-man phase breaker gets that CC up in the cost of his life. That's a 2-for-1 trade with the Rift Herald being secured by Pizza Team. And so far, Pizza has been showing up, but Grind Sky as well. 5 kills.
Yeah,
The
that's
first
right.
6 minutes of the match.
I think that's just really, really interesting as well. You see how they're both playing. Pizza team is doing their best to just make sure they can grab all these objectives that they need. But meanwhile, Grind Sky is saying, that's fine. We cannot contest it. Fine. We'll just make sure that we punish them for it. But look like Vayne gonna be in trouble, but Dream is always there to support her teammates back.
Yeah, just a dream. Constantly supporting Vayne as they need to.
That's
Because
the
Vayne's
dream
their
we
hyper
all
carry.
want. That's the dream we all want as ADCs. We want that
Yeah.
kind of support. But no, my support not only steals my kills, but just leaves me for dead.
It's like a pocket sage, right?
Yeah. Revive me, Sage. Heal me, Sage. No,
Yeah.
you want to go play Battle Sage. What is that?
This is Battle Karma now. Talking
Oh,
about
wait.
Wild Rift.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about it as well, Karma, I think that's the flexibility Karma has. She can build full AP and still be useful. She can build full support and still be useful. The heals that come through, the damage that comes in. I think it's almost reminiscent of a Ziggs, but a nicer Ziggs, a less annoying Ziggs.
Yeah, a Ziggs that doesn't have
Heals.
a global ult.
Oh,
A global ult, more poke damage.
yeah.
No
Shields.
clear wave, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. But we are seeing that same trend coming in from both teams again. We're still seeing that. Well, I mean, I think from earlier, from how you said it, it was more of like a very passive gameplay from both teams. But now
Yeah.
we're seeing a more, I wouldn't say like it's faster than just now, but I would just like to say that it's more of like they're more proactive compared to before. So you know sometimes how you always have round number 1, it's always a slow game, it's always very one-sided. Is that getting
Yeah.
to know you icebreaker game? And then suddenly game 2 is like so different.
Yeah, absolutely. Although I don't know, they've already played like the icebreaker just a while back. Game number 1, they're getting to know each other. I don't know what stage this is now for game number 2 in the semifinals.
Yeah, probably. They
Maybe
probably know each other. I think the reason why they're hesitant is, I mean, maybe it's a warm-up. First match of the day, who knows? But Dragon will be where they have their sights on.
Yeah, but look at Nock, waiting for the blast cone. And Pizza has this information now, jumping onto the Dragon Pit. Nock has his ultimate showstopper onto Angelila.
beautiful.
Now going for the smite, will be able to still secure it. Grand Sky now going through and through, fighting this up against Pizza. Front face first. Pizza, but now they're separated as Kha'Zix falls and Gia on the front lines up against just the Dream. But Nock is there to support, there to respond. But there we go, the party is partying for Grind Sky Aries as they just help Grind Sky Aries to be able
Oh!
to secure that kill. Now Less of You is in trouble as Anisha and Vayne is there to be able to take more out of Grind Sky, but will not be able to secure it, as that will just be a 3-for-2 trade? 3-for-1 trade?
Yeah, I'm actually just so surprised because when you look at Vayne, her positioning is just very, very aggressive. If we saw just now as well, what they did was that Karma and Vayne went up and went 2-on-1 against the Akali, not allowing her to come into the backlines and grab those picks that she wants, thus zoning them out. Usually when we think about zoners, we think about Set, we think about, Gragas, but instead we're
Garen.
seeing, Garen. But, but this time we saw the ADC and her support say, no, we're not allowing the Akali to go even close to them. We're gonna deny them from the damage that they really, really need. And I think that's one of the downsides of having a, a Senna. Because you're not having that fast sort of attack, and suddenly, look at this. Immediately,
Yeah.
Vayne is just popping off.
Yeah, and it's interesting, right? Grind Sky Aries, we're seeing their draft, it's infinite scaling, Senna, Nasus needs that late game. But at the same time, Pizza Team also is looking for the late game.
the
Vayne
Vayne.
scales really hard in the late game, so I don't know how this would turn out.
Yeah, that's right. I don't think they even have to go super late game because right now their Vayne is online. They're already pretty much ahead. She has all the kills that she needs. Oh!
Yeah, absolutely. Now, explosive cast. Grand Sky Esports is now separated. Karma ulti will be there as well. Zanisha is very low as Senna will be able to secure the kill. Grand Sky Aries, though, will have Vayne locked in onto the backside. You're too far ahead, Pizza! will lose their hyper carry in their mid laner as Grind Sky Aries secures the 2-0.
I'm just surprised. That's why I mentioned just now about Vayne. Yes, she's very aggressive. Yes, she knows how to position herself. But sometimes in that kind of situations, like it or not, Vayne is still a very squishy ADC. She needs her support. She's not waiting for them, going just a little bit too far ahead of herself.
Yeah, and I think that was a bit of a mistake for Pizza because they're looking for Vayne. They're looking and depending on Vayne in the total. And yes, they have all these kills, 3-0-0 just a while back, but when you just go into the backside and just get picked off by the enemy team, you're giving the gold bounty to them, plus you're losing a lot of their damage as an overall perspective for your whole team. So it's a difficult situation there for Vayne at that moment, but right now he's building potentially onto a Phantom Dancer for more sustainability.
Yeah, we all know the changes to Phantom Dancer is very, very annoying as well on how it executes and just stops that damage from just going for a full burst. But look at that right now. They don't want to take this fight against the Akali, at least not head on. So they already pretty much already suspected that Angelela might be coming down to help out because we talked about it in the previous game earlier as well, or match rather, how when you see someone alone, there is always going to be someone lurking close by to collapse.
Definitely. Right now, instead of a Nasus going for IBG or Triforce or Divine Thunder, it's a Leandris Nasus. So it's an AP Nasus.
Wow, AP Nasus. Never thought I'd see that in competitive. By the way, I gotta commend these players for being very, very creative, and I think that's the beauty of Wild Rift though. But if you look at that, mid lane is what they want to siege right now. So
Grand Sky Aries is Senna with a good route there. Coming to the backside, it's going to be set, going for the showstopper onto one header, but now he's locked in. He's pinned down as Grand Sky Aries already takes 2. Now Absolute Zero. Pizza team will go back to safety, but not safe enough as Babby's now down low. Snowball from Angela Layla. Zone away, enemy team. As Vayne can't do nothing here up against Grind Sky as they take the tier 2 mid lane.
I think that's also one of the downfalls here for their Vayne, is the fact that while she was ahead early, when it comes to Grind Sky, they're just so good when it comes to the team fights. They just know how to play together. I mean, earlier we did just talk about in terms of positioning, and I think that's the problem here. When you have a Vayne who's just a little bit too aggressive, playing on her own, playing to the point that your teammates cannot keep up with you, that's gonna be a problem. And also another thing that I really want to point out here when it comes to Grind Sky is that how they start off the team fight. They will just poke you as much as they can. That's the beauty of having, you know, a Senna, having a Jace. They can just put in as much damage or just poke as they can, and by the time the turret is down, they can go all in if they want to because of the Senna Shroud.
Yeah, and that's just the power of it, right? Angelila can just build up the snowball in the mist, and Pizza
Yeah.
doesn't have any information.
They
How
have
many
no
are there in the mist?
How big is the snowball in the mist?
Yeah.
What's gonna be coming out of that? You have no clue.
Now, it's Grind Sky going for the Baron Nashor. Will be able to secure it, and Pizza has to retreat. They have to. They have to defend because if not, if Grind Sky gets those kills, gets the ace, we'll be able to punish Pizza. Just happened from game number 1, and now Babby just remains on the ground. A nail in the coffin as Grind Sky Aries with a Baron Nashor is looking for the finish with Inhib Dirt left in the mid lane.
I am just so frustrated right now because from what it looks like from Pizza Team, it looks so good in the beginning. They looked pretty much unstoppable, especially since they took care of their Vayne so well. They made sure that she was able to have that snowball potential. But the problem is, it just comes down to positioning. That micro, the macro play is just so much better from the side of Grind Sky, seeing on round number 2 compared to round number 1.
That's GG's. The semifinals, Grind Sky Aries will take it home. The undefeated team is still here in FSL Wild Rift Open 2. Still dominating the upper bracket, going to the grand finals for tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right. But I really, really feel so bad for Bobby. It's that situation where we talked about having a Kha'Zix, that pick situation. If you're not able to get those picks, suddenly you're rendered very, very irrelevant. Because when you have a Kha'Zix in a team fight and your team is just getting picked off one by one, and this includes your frontliners, what can you do? Nothing. You're just going down with the whole team. And while the Vayne was able to get 3 kills early, the fact of the matter is, what can a Vayne do against 5 stacked teams who are able to play together? A 1 versus 5 gets you nowhere.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. I feel like if Vayne, if Pizza Team as an overall team had played it longer, they
Mm,
could have definitely won up against Grand Sky Aries. Because Vayne is
yeah.
just too powerful in the late game.
Yep, absolutely. Honestly, when I think about it again, Vayne was pretty much already online and okay. The problem is, I think it comes down to teamwork. I think what's going on here is that I think this this is something I saw as well in Malaysia and Singapore as well. When you see a Vayne player, they're very, very aggressive. It's to the point that Just a Dream was just not able to keep up with her to keep her safe. And once your ADC gets separated with your other members of your team, like say your Gragas, say your Karma, you can't really do much because you can't protect her. She can't really, really safely put out that damage as much as she wants to.
Yeah. And Vayne doesn't really have the longest of range when compared to other ADCs, right?
Yeah.
So I think that was just also a caveat when it comes to picking up Vayne. You need to hyper scale and you need to go into the front lines a bit more than other ADCs.
Yep, that's right. But we already have our teams that will be going on to the grand finals tomorrow. So let's have a look here. But I'm really excited to know though. When you see here, Grind Sky Aries, Pizza Team 2-0. And then after that, we saw just now in GGTY, who already went against NSL earlier, 1-1 as well. So after this, we gotta see who Grind Sky will be going up against, either GGTY or NSL.
And it's interesting. We've seen how GGTY played just a while back up against Lorem Ipsum. Their macro was phenomenal. Their playstyle is great. So we'll see how that will turn out for them up against NSL. As right now, it's still ongoing. It's a 1-1. Grand finals, I don't know how Grand Sky will turn out. Are they still going to remain undefeated?
Yeah, that will be the question for now. Either way, though, guys, don't forget tomorrow will be the grand finals. Make sure to follow us over on the FSL platforms, YouTube, Facebook, and everything else in between to know exactly when all our matches will be happening. Be it Wild Rift, will it Valorant, everything else in between. And by the way, this tournament is not possible without our sponsors.
Yahoo and Intel. Shout out to you guys. Thank you very much for supporting this tournament. FSL Wall Drift will not be possible without you.
Yep, that's right. So for now, let's have a look at again, like what exactly we'll be seeing tomorrow. We don't know exactly who the second team is gonna be, but if you could kind of like guess which team will be going forward, or if you could choose which team will be going forward, who would you choose?
It's difficult because I wasn't able to see NSL's play, so I can't really decide from that.
But
But
it's a 1-1, so you can tell that both teams are equally matched.
yeah,
Just from
I
that,
don't have a
right?
clue.
I'm really excited to see as well because GGTY was just absolutely phenomenal. Love their gameplay, love their style as well in terms of macro and micro. But it's just really, really unlucky as well when we look at last game as well between a Pizza as well as Grind Sky. Because when you think about those two teams, I think it just comes down to not just macro and micro, but rather it's already the compositions and how they want to play with those compositions. End of the day, the whole thing that matters is just execution.
Yeah, absolutely. Because every single one of these teams are right now the best of the best here at FSL Wild Rift Open. That was just an amazing quarterfinals and semifinals. We've seen Grind Sky Aries, we've seen GGTY. We'll see tomorrow how these teams will perform. Can Grind Sky still remain at the top, be undefeated here at FSL? I'm Infinity, and
That's
this
right.
is Cash Bunny, your casters for Wild Rift Open 2. And see you guys tomorrow.